Hello everyone, my name is Sabrina, and in this video I will be showing you how I run my online art shop. So to preface this, I was on Etsy for a couple of years, but I decided to transition to Big Cartel for a couple of reasons. I thought the fees were just getting too high and I didn't really like the lack of customization when it came to Etsy. I don't think Etsy is a terrible place to sell. I think it's actually pretty good for beginners. I just kind of wanted to grow my business and my branding, and I felt like Etsy was kind of holding me back. I can't speak for everyone, this is just the case for me. Big Cartel is a little better when it comes to customization. There's really only a handful of templates, so there is a limit on what you can do. So the customization is a little bit more than Etsy, but it's not as customizable as having your own full-blown website like Wix or Squarespace. I am not quite ready to build my own website from scratch, so I thought getting a Big Cartel would be like a good in-between. So I'm going to be talking about what I sell on my online shop. I sell a variety of products. I sell original paintings, art prints, some clay items, and also some print-on-demand products. For my print-on-demand products, I just integrate my Printful account with my Big Cartel account. This way, I don't have to worry about making a product, packaging it up, and shipping it off. So it's a really good way to get passive income. For the items that I do handle on my own, I am responsible for all of that stuff. So now I'm going to be talking about product photography. In order for people to buy your product, it is so important to show what you're selling in the most positive light possible. Since I sell pretty relatively flat items, I just pretty much stick to doing flat lay photography, and I just take a picture from up above, trying to get it as even as possible. So a really useful tip is to actually zoom your camera in just a little bit, and this causes the image to flatten so nothing looks too like fish-eyed or skewed or anything like that. So you get a really accurate representation of what you're selling. I personally use a Canon M50 to get the job done. I am not a professional photographer, by the way. I'm just kind of like learning as I go. There are so many ways you can go about customizing your flat lay photography. I actually use this marble patterned piece of paper. I got this from a craft store, and you can usually find it in like the scrapbook section. I think it works pretty well for now. The surface is a nice light color, the pattern is really interesting, but it's also not distracting. I've also heard of people using slabs of marble they would get from home improvement stores, and there is also marble that comes in vinyl form, so that's pretty convenient. I think it's a lot easier to do that or the marble paper instead of just taking a big hunk of heavy marble. I have my special little tub of flat lay props. It consists of different like little crystals. Most of it is fake greenery and some of it's also like real plants. This is a really cool combination of things, and it just does so well at adding interest to your product photography. So after taking the photos, I almost always have to edit them, and I usually use Adobe Photoshop, and you can also use Pixlr, which is an online free photo editor, and it works super well. I usually tweak things like brightness, contrast, color balance, and saturation. And I always crop my photos in a square format. It keeps things nice, clean, and consistent. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about Big Cartel. It is $10 a month for the specific subscription that I have. Now, if you're familiar with Etsy, they do have their own payment processing system, and I think it was just called Etsy Payments. But with Big Cartel, they don't have their own system, so they usually take two forms of payment, which is through PayPal or Stripe. Big Cartel itself doesn't charge any fees, but PayPal and Stripe, they do charge fees. It's usually a small percentage of your transaction. Now we're going to talk about shipping. I feel like it's very intimidating at first, but it does get easier the more you do it. With Big Cartel, which is, you know, the platform that I use, they don't have their own shipping system, so you have to make an account with a separate shipping platform. I personally use Pirate Ship. It's completely free and it's really easy to use. It also integrates with Big Cartel, so it will import that info from my order into Pirate Ship, so you don't have to type in any like extra info. You do have to enter a little bit of info, but that's just for the shipping label, which is really easy to do. All you have to do is choose the type of package it is, the dimensions, the weight, and the mail class. And it will give you a price right away. So then you'll be able to purchase the label, and it will take that money straight from your bank account, whatever bank account that you link to your Pirate Ship. When it comes to printing the label, you can use a specific label printer that is the fastest yet more expensive way of doing it. I personally don't have the funds right now to buy a label printer, so I just do the other option, which is using a home printer and then printing out the label on just a regular piece of paper. I use a Canon M50. It was super cheap. I think it was probably like $60. So the print quality isn't amazing, but it's definitely good enough to print a basic shipping label. So there are two ways you can go about printing with your regular printer. You can print on a regular piece of paper, cut out the label, and then tape it to your package. Or you can print on a specific label paper that already has the shape like pre-cut, so all you have to do is print on it, peel it off, and then just stick it on your package. The last thing I do with that process is I drive to the post office and I drop it off in a drop box. If you feel like there isn't any way that you can get to a post office, you can also schedule a pickup. I'm not exactly sure how that process works because I never scheduled a pickup, but it sounds pretty convenient. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the financial nitty-gritty stuff, the stuff that just isn't fun. I'm not going to go too much into detail because, disclaimer, I am not a professional when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm not a tax professional. I am not an accountant, so just keep that in mind. I am still learning as I go. Big Cartel does collect and remit sales tax for you, so that's awesome. As far as the other stuff, I do recommend you go to City Hall and just speak to someone about getting licenses and collecting tax and all of that stuff. All of these legal rules do vary from state to state and even all the way down to the specific city. So I really can't tell you what to do because number one, I'm not a professional, and number two, it's different everywhere. In order to keep track of my finances, I do have my own business checking account with its own debit card. This keeps my personal expenses separate from my business expenses, and it keeps it nice and organized so nothing gets all muddy and whatnot. And it's a lot easier to keep track of come tax time. For me, I have an online bookkeeping account, and that's where I keep everything organized. Sometimes you do have to go through the transactions and edit them and categorize them, and it is a pain in the ass, but it's something that makes it a lot easier and it kind of gives you that peace of mind. I've heard that people also use Excel spreadsheets to keep track of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much all I do when it comes to running my online business. I hope you all found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And like and subscribe if you would like to see more videos. And also feel free to give me ideas on future videos in the comments as well. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye!